This is day 161 of the Arukh HaShulchan OC. If you would like to sponsor an upcoming shir or more of the Arukh HaShulchan OC, please contact me directly. It would be very much appreciated. Today we are doing Siman Kuf Yud Ches, Sif Aleph, to Siman Kuf Yud Tes, Sif Gimel. Kuf Yud Ches, Aleph. Shai brachas ad Ritzei. The other brachas in the middle of Shemona Esrei up to Ritzei. Brachas, he was the 10th bracha. He with Kab Shofar Gadol. Is Kab Shofar the Agula Tia Ideit Shofar. The redemption will come through the blowing of a shofar. Receive as it says the pasuk of Yabba Yamu Yitaka B'Shofar Gadol. Right, they a great shofar will be blown. Why was this bracha instituted after Birchas Hazoyin? Cheskel. Binyan Agula, it says, "Vatem harei Yisrael fechem titnu pirichem tisula miYisrael kichervulavo." And you, the mountains of Israel, your branches you will give, and your fruit you will bear for my nation Israel, because they are coming nigh. Upanisi alechem, and I will face towards you. V'yesh b'chav tevos, and these two psukim, which are Yechezkel Lamvav Chesetes, have 20 words. And connected pasuk v'yom simchaschem v'kom etkatem b'chatzos pasuk b'midbar yud, which talks about blowing chatzos yeshbo gam ken chav tevos also has 20 words. And the tkab shofar, I believe we said before already, obviously has 20 words in it. Ubrachi Rav, the 11th bracha, brachas hashiva. The English means tkab sukolios. Once the Goliaths have been returned, Nasidin B'Rishoyim, judgment will be meted out against the Rishoyim. So you see, at Tzror Vetzrov Kabor Sigayich, I'm going to purify your impurities, and return your judges. Yesh B'Chav Dala Tevos. It has 24 words. We gave a possible story before, but here it says Kenegi base tables, corresponding to 12 words that are in the pasuk of a shiva, and connected base tables, and in the corresponding to the 12 words in the pasuk of Tichli La'olam. Okay. Base Chasimas bracha zu. The conclusion of this bracha, Melech Ohev Tzedakah Mishpat, is the king who loves charity and justice. But says made tshuva, we obviously say HaMelech HaMishpat. These are some of the brachos. In the Gemara itself, it seems that it's, at one point it says likuvu, that it's an impediment. You love marmachzina, so you don't say we make you go back. If you went got the Shemona, uprooted your legs, close the rosh field, go back, give davening. If not, close a shiva, go back to a shiva shofteinu. Come, because Rabbeinu Ramav is Elshon, or Rama writes me, im omar melech tzedakah mishpat, ain't tzorich lachzor. You don't have to go back and say it again. The Mishnah Berurah says, if you remember Tok de Dibor, from the time you say Mishpat, you say Hamach Mishpat also. If it's Achar Ki Dibor, you don't go back again. Back to the Arukh HaShulchan. V'lo amru shiachzor el makom shel kol hashana omri hakel oheib stuck on Mishpat. Since we mentioned Melech the entire year, so therefore we don't go back to the Session Tshuva. There were those who don't mention the entire year. They have Chazima, excuse me, of God who loves charity and justice. Find the comments here. Base on Kal Nishara. Those arguments. I feel nusach zeh. B'chol hashana hatzedakah ikar. They want to say that the entire year that tzedakah is the primary. Excuse me. I don't know where this went on, but it's that the tzedakah is primary. And says Metshuva Mishpat Ikar. During the says Metshuva, the Mishpat is primary. Vein lahaskir tzedakah. I should have mentioned tzedakah. That's the task. Aval Rabbi Miskimu Lizet, the Mori Avram, and others, the Shloah and Matan Moshe, agree that that you don't go back over. Even if the primary gears for the rest of the year was the God who loves charity and justice. We don't do that. We say if that's the case, we can resolve a suffix which we have. If you say the entire Melech Koshim Tzorech Lachzor, the Chormashu the Ein Tzorech Lachzor. There we say you have to go back, because it's Melech Kodesh is not appropriate for the rest of the year. But here it sounds like you don't have to go back because there are many poskim who hold by Hashiva Shoftein. If you say okay, even if you say, I see the Magen Avram, but the Magen Avram and the Matamashi Tishla, etc. say is that even if your gear, so the rest of the year, your version is Hakel Hebsakol Mishpat during Aseres Meitshuva, if you got to say Hamelech Hamishpat, you still don't go back. So if that's the case, it undermines what he wrote back in Kufi Dalit that if you say Hamelech HaKadosh the rest of the year, you have to go back, right? Because here we see that it's not, as long as the import is the right one, that should be sufficient. And that's what he says here. Perhaps you can distinguish in tzarech iyun. I would say, based on this, although in Kuf Yud we saw otherwise, then now we see this in Kuf Yud Ches, that if you did say Melech HaKodesh the rest of the year, because of Safek Brachas, you should not go back. Gimel. The 12th bracha is Lamal Shinim. After the bracha on justice. Once the justice is done, Kol Lamal Shinim, all the people who bear false tales will be eliminated. Because in the pasuk in Yeshaya Aleph Chav Ches it says that after, which is the end of the Haftarah for Parshas Shabbos Chazon, the Shiva Shoftar Krish says going to return like your Shoftim as they were initially. Because it says V'shever Poshim B'chatoim Yachtav Yichlu. That's not part of the Haftarah, if I recall correctly. That the breakage of the breakage of the criminals and the sinners together, they will be eradicated. Because Zaydim what? And includes Zaydim there, includes Zaydim later in the Psukim, Ozvei Hashem Yichlu. Those who forsake God will be eliminated. And Haim HaZaydim and Ozvei Hashem are those who deliberately Shemizidim K'neged Hashem, Kodesh Baruch who deliberately act against God. These are the people who bear the false tales to the authorities, Aminim and the heretics, Vazedim and the rebels. Yesh b'bracha zuchav test tables. There are 29 words in this bracha. K'nei Torah sheb'ksav, the Torah sheb'al peh, corresponding to the two Torahs. That's two, Torah sheb'ksav and Torah sheb'al peh. V'chav zayin osios and the 27 letters. Medim man sepach with the letters which are the Sophist letters. Yesh chav zayin osios. There are 27 letters in the alphabet. There are many different versions of Malshinim. There are different ones in the Sidurim. Because people have distorted it, probably because of censorship. This is a correct nuskha according to the Arukh HaShulchan. So to those who bear those false tales, there should be no hope. The Aminim and all the heretics, all the rebels, in a moment they should be lost, and all the enemies should quickly be cut off. And those rebels quickly uproot shaber and break usmager and wipe away and subjugate quickly in our times. Hashem, shover oivim machnia zaydim. Blessed is Kodesh Baruch who breaks the enemies and subjugates the Zaydim. The it says here, but say for Yoshin. So I have my trusty Red Ohio Siddur here, just to check up what the gear says, because I think it's very similar to what the Yekas say, which I say. That's correct. No, then it has. It says in the red line. It says v'chol osei risha korev, which is which makes sense because Zaydim appears later. According to the Arukh HaShulchan, appears twice. Seems to be redundant, but according to the Redelheim Siddur, it appears only once because the first time it says osei risha, only the second time it says Zaydim. So here again, according to Arukh HaShulchan, it says chol hazay. Here it says called Osei Risha Keregel Vedu, and it says in the Arukh HaShulchan Chayvecha Meheroi Karesu, and it says V'chula Meheroi Karesu, and the rest of it is the same. Okay, so that's an example of how the nuschos are different. and the standard Ashkenaz, I think, differs as well. It says, and regular Ashkenaz, etc., etc. Okay, Dalit, Bracha Yugimel, the 13th Bracha Al Tzadikim. After we uproot those bearers of false tales, we'll go to the authorities. Yisromen Karen Tzadikim, the horn of glorious Tzadikim will be uplifted. As it says in Tehillim Ayin Hey, Kol Karnei Rishonim Agadea, all the horns of the Rishonim I will cut off. To Ramnan Karnei Tzadik, and the horns of the Tzadikim will be uplifted. Yesh Bracha Zum Membeis Tables, the 42 words in this bracha. According to this, you should not say Yemuna Rachamecha, because that would add a word, El Yehemu Rachamecha. What do we have in the middle line? Once we have it handy, you might as well look it up, right? It says Yehemu Rachamecha. V'chein Ein Omar Pleitas Beis Ofreim. Don't put in the word base. The remnant of the house of their scribes, El Platos, and the remnant of the scribes. The Yakim. It's precise. That's the way it is precise. Hey, mem base tables. That makes it 42 words. Tables. If you add those two words together, it's 44. Mem base tables, it says here in the brackets, the 42 words and negative shame mem base. Oh, we said something like that. The shame of 42 letters, Shabon Nivra Olam, with which the world was created, which the Tzadikim Nivra Olam, it was created for the Tzadikim. It was Beit Chaim Sham, the Tur Krasavar Mazim, Psukim, Ayin Sham, and Tur brings down connections to Psukim as well. Hey, Bracha Dal, Yerushalayim Ircha, the Heichan Torah Misraim Kenar Tzadikim, where will the horn Tzadikim be uplifted? Who are mentioned Shabracha Damas in the previous Bracha, Yerushalayim. Shneimar says, Shalu Shlom Yerushalayim, seek for the peace of Yerushalayim, Yishloyu Avai, those who love you will be tranquil. Klamar Bat Tzadikim Shem Ois Barach, those Tzadikim who are those who love HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yichyu B'Shava, they live in tranquility. Yeshua Chavdal Table says 24 words. Neged Chavdal Osios, corresponding to 24 letters. Shem Pasuk B'nei Yerushalayim Hashem, Nichei Solichanes, etc. Pasuk also in Tehillim Kuf Mem Zayin. You shouldn't say the throne of David, your servant. You should quickly put into Yerushalayim. And have the Chafei tables. If you add the word Avdecha, it comes out to 25 words. But so therefore, Chisei David Mehera. You say Chisei David Mehera in the Relheim Seder. It does have. Chisei David Mehera without the Avdecha. Yeah. V'abracha Chamesh Asar Semach David v'tiknua, and it was fixed Achar B'nei Yerushalayim Shekem Shivis Yerushalayim, once Yerushalayim is built, but David, it's right, Yerushalayim is built first. Shemar Achar Yeshu B'nei Zor B'Kshua Selo Shem Elokeim v'David Malkam. Okay, it was interesting. First Yerushalayim gets rebuilt, and then David comes and reigns, or Mashiach ben David. V'Yeshua Chav Tevos, and has 20 words. Pasuk Kinicham Hashem Tzion Nicham Charvaseh, etc., which is pasuk in the end of one of the haftarahs in the Nechemta. Shayin Aleph, HaKadosh Baruch Hu consoles the city. Va Bracha Tes Zayin, the 16th bracha Shema Koleinu. B'Samchul Es Semach David. It's juxtaposed at Semach David. The came about David, but Tefillah. When David comes, Tefillah comes. Shneimar Vavi Yosim Lahar Kodeshi. Another pasuk in Vav. I bring them into my holy mountain. I cause them to rejoice in my house of prayer. And that's 35 words, Simarcha, and the simon is Hala Hashem Tikmeluzos. Okay, I'm not sure if that's related specifically, but the Hey and La Hashem are separated. But I don't know exactly why that's a simon. But somehow, I don't know what the connotation is. But in any event, hey, come here, table sheyesh b'mizmar tefillah l'David. So they're in the mizmar of tefillah, which is Tehillim Yud Zayin, min Shema Hashem Tzedek from listen Hashem to the justice ad zamosi baya vorpi. I plotted not to transgress my mouth. It's from Arizal. V'yeser brachas yizbaru b'simukuf chaf b'siyat yishmai. Other brachas will be explained later on. Kuf yutes. The mishrotzo si brakasha b'tefillah. So now we're in Shema Kolenu, and we're going to speak about adding on a bracha during davening, during Shema Kolenu. Well, in general, not just Shema Kolenu. If you want to add on some request, you can add any one of the middle brachas, each one according to its subject matter. Okay, so how so? If you had somebody sick in your house, in your family, you can down if you require an income, etc. Such as if you want to ask Hashem, She'ametz libo l'Torah, that He will fortify your heart for Torah. Bakish b'tochonim. That's what Tochonim does. She'azol b'tshuvasov, that Hashem shall be your tshuva. Bakish b'ashivenu. Shemchol chatov, Hashem should forgive him. Yivakish b'slach lanu. V'chayotz b'zeh, etc. On number Shema Kolenu, but Shema Kolenu is the catch-all. Yochel bakish kol davar she'yitz. You can ask anything you want. He calls it's a general bracha, v'lo pratis, and not specific. He calls kol bakashas includes all the requests. But you don't begin the bracha with a request. Start the bracha. Because the primary formula is that which is formulated by Chachamim. The kodesh shemar chasimas bracha. Before you say the conclusion of bracha, yivakish bakashos, so you make your request. And you should make sure that if it's right before the chasima, then you should make sure that the chasima of your bakasha, the last words of your bakasha, should be something akin to the signature of the bracha, the Baruch Atah Hashem, at the end. When you ask for a mercy for a chole, you're doing it in front of the sick person, and so last Kirshmo, you don't have to mention his name. Send healing to the sickness. Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe was down from Miriam. She was in front of him. Kel no refuah Allah. Heal her. He didn't have to mention her name. But if it's not in front of him, you have to mention his name. Shem Aviv. Oh, Shem Imo. Interesting. He's pretty lenient on that. Doesn't matter father and mother's name according to Arukh HaShulchan. To clarify for who he's asking mercy, because tefillah has to be clear, and if the person is not in front of them, it would be unclear. It says brackets ayin Rashi times the down base the master shemei tefillah shchaz kol bakashas rak b'shemei bilvad ayin sham. Rashi seems to all bakashas only be in shemei tefillah v'utema g'dayla v'tzarchim gadol, because it seems from Chazal that you can do any bracha me'ein ha-bracha. Base the you should know the zeh davar pashut. It's clear. Shalitir Chazal l'sib b'shmon esrei they ela b'makom shetzarich l'zeh. You can only add when you need it. But to say an additional request constantly in Shemona Esrei, such as the we have in Shema Kolenu, the Vidui, Hashem Chotasi B'necha, or the Parnasa to Hashem, Son Farnes Merachem, etc. To add that constantly, should I say, Hu Elza Yisera? It's very brazen, v'chutzpah, and arrogant, klape Anshe Knesset Gdola, vis-a-vis Anshe Knesset Gdola, as if they didn't know how to make the tefillah comprehensive. And this, every time Chacham and anybody who hears Hashem inside of him will concede as a point. So therefore we have to shout at the printers. That they added to Vila, which we just mentioned. On Hashem Chatasi B'chulei, Hatazem Panes B'chulei. The Rabbi Me'amei are somebody who said, Tom Yechol Tfilas Shmonasei, and I'm sorry, Kechol Tfilas Shmonasei. And Me'am Aratzim say this as if it's part of the Shmonesrei. For Libi Olai Davai, and my heart is mourning. Amma says on this activity. Shamati Shvarisha Zecha Migdoli Ador B'Dosh Shmenim. I heard one of the previous Gedolim was very upset about this. As Shabbat was saying, Rabbi, with our great iniquity, Imsar Alma, the word has been given to be other to shoy to the hands of the fools. Wow. And the printers do what they want. We don't have the power to protest. If you that would say saying totally show Amazon of Tommy. The person should always ask for sustenance. I feel usher even if he's rich. Always the person should always confess his sins. That's true. But not to insert it into the fields of Anshe Knesset Gdola. If you want, say him after the kind of Torah, after you Ratzon, not before you Ratzon. Then who cares? Basically, in the second I feel say Yom Kippur. If you want after any davening, you can say just the entire davening Yom Kippur. If you want. Gimel because Rabbeinu B'Soyse, the Rabbeinu Yoina, he says that Shemosi bracha bebrachim enos a bracha. When you're adding to a bracha something akin to that bracha, im mosi v'asab b'shul kol Yisrael. If you're adding for all the Jews, Omer asab l'shem rabbi, we say it as collectively in plural, v'lo b'lashon yachid, not singular. V'lo yasif el b'asab bracha should only be added at the end of the bracha, v'lo b'emtza, not in the middle. You show tzrachim mamish, you're asking for your own needs. Go change the chol himself based on somebody sick in your house. Or should you tzarach l'parnasa? You have a special need for parnasa. Yochel show if you b'emtza bracha, you can ask even in the middle bracha. But only as an individual, and not in plural. Breka Shomet Fila, it became a Sofat Fila, and Shomet Fila also in the kind of Tzor. Ben Koni Ratzon Me'achra, whether it's before the Ratzon or afterwards. Yochel Yishol Ben Loshin, Yochid Ben Loshin Rabim. There's no difference. You can ask whether Yochid or Rabim. Ben Tzorach Mamish, whether they're your needs. Ben Tzorach Rabim, the needs of the masses. Adkan Lashono. Yesh Yishon, those who say Rabbeinu Yonah Fil B'Shomet Fila, also Marbe Loshin Rabim. Some say, according to Rabbeinu Yonah, even Shemet Fila can't say it in plural. That's the Magen Avraham. But regardless, the tzibur could be permitted even in the middle of the bracha to add on. In old shuls, interesting language, they have a custom in the middle of the bracha slichos. We don't have that anymore. They would say slichos in the slach lanu. The dash is there should custom Rabbeinu Beis Yosef din el b'shem Rabbeinu Yoina. Why did Beis Yosef write these halachos in the name Rabbeinu Yoina? The low custom stomach kedarko, and they're not right that them generically as he normally does. Because in the Beis Yosef itself, as opposed to Shulchan Aruch of the Rambam Varosh, he writes that the Rambam Varosh leis tuane kloli don't have these principles. It's no matter what you're allowed to add in any way, shape, or form. It's halachas like them in Mikra Din. It's good, but it's good to take Rabbeinu Yonah into account. That's what he wrote in his name. Tells we can do a Mikra Din according to law, not according to Rabbeinu Yonah.